Plaintiff Clifford Lewis rented an apartment to the defendant's grandmother, and she and the defendant lived together. Clifford claims the defendant is typical of young men in this day and age, and he has seen him disrespect his grandmother. Clifford is suing him today for car damages. Defendant Rashawn Anderson says while living in Clifford's rental property, he failed to repair the unit, and his grandmother was hospitalized due to black mold. Rashawn insists Clifford agreed to take $20 for the car damages, which he paid him. So Rashawn doesn't owe anything else.
Start with you.
I've known Rashawn due to the fact that his grandmother and himself have rented a property from our one-time primary residence. He's been there roughly about 3 years or so. I've noticed in Rashawn that he's somewhat impetuous and a little bit disrespectful from time to time, but that's to be expected in a young man's time.
That's false. Okay.
Depends on who it's toward. Who is he disrespectful toward?
He lives with his grandmother, sir.
Disrespectful toward his grandmother?
I've heard that.
Yeah, no, that's not to be expected. All right.
Well, I just look at him being a young man in today's world.
Okay. I hope that's not normal in today's world.
It's not, and that's actually false.
Disrespecting your grandparents. All right, and what else you know about the young man?
Know that he has come back from California roughly about 3 years ago when he moved in with his grandmother. I'm not saying that he's a bad young man. I'm just saying he's typical of young men in today's world.
Let me hear from you, young man. Tell me about yourself.
I met Clifford when I returned to Cleveland from California. I was in California for 5 years. Started off at University of Southern California. Then school got tough, so I ended up getting a gig with Universal Studios as a character performer. Danced for Little Washington Dance Company, Daniel Azarello Dance Company, and did different gigs like throughout California involving the creative arts. I returned back to Cleveland because the struggle got real, and I moved in with my grandmother, and I've been there since.
What do you mean struggle got real? Money?
Yes.
Well, you work at restaurants like everybody else seeking entry into the arts.
It got to a point where I started to get distracted and I didn't want to go down the wrong path, so I made the responsible decision to go back home.
Okay, so there it was. It wasn't money because you couldn't earn any, it was because you were distracted in other areas of life.
Yes.
All right. What's your trade?
I don't have a trade, Your Honor. I'm presently on disability, and I own several properties as well.
All right, well, your trade is as a real estate owner.
Yeah.
All right, you do something. You don't just have Social Security. You do some work. You got to collect them checks.
Yes, that's true too.
Folks.
That's true too.
Well, then maybe they don't pay you. You get all your money?
No.
I guess you don't have one. People not paying you. Go ahead, sir. Tell me about your friendship or your association with the plaintiff. Has it been all right?
It started off perfectly fine. We were cordial with each other. We really had no reasons to not be cordial with each other and give each other respect. September 2017, we started to have problems with the home with black mold. My grandmother began to get sick and be in and out the hospital. That's when the ball started to roll. We approached him many times about fixing the problem. He went around it by doing the most smallest things to fix it, like wiping down the walls with bleach instead of actually, you know, tearing everything down.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of work to do, and yeah, the cost.
That's not totally correct.
It is incorrect?
It's not totally correct, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll let him finish. And
we got the health department involved with that situation as well. And then as time continued, different things started to happen with the house. The toilet had a hole up. The toilet was unleveled, so we'll rock back and forth. And I guess it created some type of hole under it. Water would begin to leak down into the kitchen, which began to let the ceiling fall in. He fixed that at the very last minute, which I'm sure created more mold because, you know, moisture and all of that. And
that black mold can cause sickness.
Exactly.
Your grandmother's been in and out of the hospital, plus you got to worry about you disrespecting her. Tell me you don't do that.
I don't. Me and my grandmother do have differences, but it's not in a disrespectful way.
Well, if you got differences, then you need to move out.
That is very true, sir.
Well, then just very do it. And stop very having differences. People kill me with that. We have differences. We don't get along.
Well, it's not
I
that
live under their roof. I'm a grown person. I live under somebody's roof. But we don't get along.
But overall, I definitely have respect.
You don't have
for
to
my
get along.
grandmother.
Pardon?
I said overall, I definitely have respect for my grandmother, and she knows that as well.
All right, make sure, and you don't give me the impression of a young man who disrespects. You give me the impression of a young man who's been raised very well, very educated, cultivated, and ready for the big time. Tell me about this black mole, sir, and then we're going to get to your car damages, but this black mole sounds concerning even for you, to save you from a big lawsuit.
There was no lawsuit involved.
I know it may not have been yet, but that's what
we took care of the black mold. We took care of all the problems. His grandmother had COPD, and that's what caused her to go in and out of the hospital.
And it may have aggravated it.
Sir.
The black mold, I'm sure.
I understand that, but we did not get cited.
Don't tell me, tell the next judge.
Okay,
Let your grandmother know what his defense is going to be.
We did not get cited.
Let's move on to the car, sir. You're going to get sued big time, so let's leave this alone. Go ahead, sir. Let's get to the car damages. $1,100.
On the morning of June 10th, I was sitting on my front porch. Mr. Anderson came out his driveway, ran into my vehicle. At that time, he said he had money, he could take care of it. I said, okay, we won't file a police report. We won't do anything at this point in time, because I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. That is, in a nutshell, what occurred. And unfortunately, nothing more than $20 was given me to get the car repaired.
Sir?
I did wake up that morning. I was rushing to work. At the time, I was working at Cuyahoga Community College as a dance instructor for the Creative Arts Academy, which is an off-program arts program. I was being irresponsible, not checking my mirrors, and I did back up into his vehicle. I immediately pulled back into my driveway and approached him. We looked at the damages, both took pictures. He said he would get estimates. He came back with me with estimates of $900 to $1,100. And I said, that's perfectly fine. I can get that to you in 2 to 3 weeks, because at the time I was getting paid well. He then approached me not even a whole week later and said, I know you're a young man, you're trying to do good things, I know mistakes happen, I found someone to fix it for a cheaper price, just give me $20, $30 and we'll leave it alone.
That man told you that. That man ain't told you give him no $20.
I tell you,
you all right, you had me for a minute.
No,
I started this line.
Your Honor, Your Honor,
that man ain't told you give him no $20.
Your Honor, I'm so serious. And my mother was actually a witness to it as well. She was on the porch and I didn't have cash on me at the time, and I ran over to my mother and told him exactly what he said. She gave me $20. I went over there and gave it to him, and at
how'd that work out?
At that point, I thought it was squashed.
I know, but how did it end up working out?
A couple of months later, I received
in here
the letter
today.
in the mail.
That's what happened.
Right.
So what happened to the $20 settlement then? When he came and asked for more later, did you remind him that you had paid your debt?
When I received the letter in the mail that he was suing me for $1,100, I was shocked. Immediately went over to his home and said, well, what was the purpose of me giving you $20? And he had no words for me. And last minute, I pulled out my phone and asked him again, and he closed his door in my face.
He did right.
Well,
that's the highest insult you could say to a person whose car you've caused over $1,000 worth of damage, and you say, I gave you $20, so what you calling me for? What's this letter about?
Well, Your Honor, I feel like...
letter talking about you want $1,100. What that car? I gave you $20.
Your Honor, I would have...
What else you want?
Your Honor, I would have never
you want another
just...
20? I got another 20 in my pocket. You get that and keep it moving.
Your Honor, I would have never just given him $20 because I was getting paid enough to pay him in full. I would have paid him in full if he would have never approached me and said what he said to me, which was actually shocking to me as well. But with him being an elder and the things that was going on...
That man not no elder. How old are you, sir?
61.
And I ain't too far behind him. Nonetheless, sir, I'm going to grant you your judgment if you have some sort of evidence of the estimate.
Yes, sir. I have two estimates.
I just don't believe you, sir.
And picture of the damage as well.
I want you to say number $20 worth of damage, sir. I'm just kidding. Ain't nothing on a car $20, sir.
Oh, okay, truly.
This is about right, sir.
Especially Cadillac.
Right. One is a 946 estimate. The other estimate is $1,467. So you're asking for $1,100 right in between. Sounds fair to me. I'll grant you your judgment for $1,100. And you did get your bachelor's, it sounds like, for you to be an instructor in dance. You got your degree?
No, I didn't. I was able to get the job based on experience.
Okay. How far you have to go for your degree?
I have 3 more credits to get through.
You getting them?
Yeah.
And the reason I'm saying that about school is because you can always teach dance, performing arts at these high schools, at these junior colleges. Many of them, particularly teachers, if you want teacher certification, you go to New York, you can teach dance in a high school or stage production in a high school as you look for your own opportunity, all right?
Yes.
So keep that in mind. I'm glad that you're able to get something now and based on your experience, but I don't know if high schools around the country would do the same, because if you do that, you'll always have a job. My youngest son, Amir, he, funniest thing, came to my wife and I after his first year at college. It was a tough first year, like a lot of college kids. He didn't do great that second semester. After he got adjusted to first, he started having fun. So he comes, I got a brochure here. I wanted to talk to y'all about something, get us both together. You know, I know this is the 4-year, the bachelor's y'all want me to get, and I'm going there, but I got this brochure where you can get your certificate in video production in 9 months.
I know exactly what he's talking about.
You know exactly what he's talking about. Listen to her. I said, okay, son, all right, that's what you want to do. You don't want to go to whole, we can get the same thing here. I said, all right, son. I said, I want you to know this is a very competitive industry. There's probably 1,000 people for every one job that are really working hard to get in the door. It's very hard to get at this industry. So I tell him that, and I say, okay, but give some thought to this. If you have a degree, if you never get a job in the industry, you can always teach.
Yes.
Sometimes you'll be a substitute teacher. If you go and get your certification, you can be a full teacher. And so that was my advice to him. I said, you just think about it. Got his degree now, been working in the industry for many years. And when he gets laid off, I run the other part. I don't want him coming to me when he gets laid off or when the show ends or what have you. Don't come to me. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff. Good luck to you, though.
Thank you.
All right.
No real malice or anything to Rashawn. We have since moved, and I doubt very seriously we'll see him again. In addition to that, we have sold the property actually to his uncle.
You know, it is what it is. I'll just continue to try to become successful like I have been.